And a very good afternoon to you, and welcome to us here at the Renault UK stand. We are indeed Facebook Live for the next 30 minutes. A lovely afternoon here at Goodwood. It has been a cracking day here at the Festival of Speed. We've had no rain at all. It's been sunny, as you can tell probably because I'm very red, and we really have had a great day. And here on the stand, we've had quite a few highlights, including F1 driver Jonathan Palmer, who's been joining us here on the stand earlier on today. We've had a couple of other highlights as well, not just Jonathan, but we also had this young lad, and we'll tell you more about him later. It was just the funniest thing ever as he tried out our virtual headsets, to be fair. Very good indeed. And as well, we go up the hill with the 1904 Renault, or 1902 car that won the Paris-Vienna race. We'll discuss that a little bit later. And you can watch all that live on Facebook in this next half hour on 360, let me tell you. It means that you can jiggle around and you can watch all kinds of views. It's groundbreaking, and it's here only on Renault's Facebook Live programme. Now, let's take a look at some of the highlights that we've had today. Well, we talked about that Renault, and let's take a look first of all. There it was on track, the 1902 Renault Type AK, built by Marcel Renault, and entered in the Paris to Vienna 612-mile road race that he won. It was Renault's first ever victory. Jean Ragnotti went up the hill as well in the Maxi Turbo Renault 5. With gay abandon, as you'd imagine, from a man that won the Tour de Course. And we also saw Renault in the car that started things off for Formula One for Renault. 40 years ago, 1977, this car was being driven by a different man. And of course, we saw as well the Typhoon. It's known as the Eurofighter. And here we are on a stand that has got French interest, so why not? They are one of the builders of this twin-engine Canard Delta Wing. And then Jolyon Palmer, who we saw earlier, we saw him on the hill as well. And we've also seen the Zoe, the concept car, and we'll be finding out a little bit more about that on tomorrow's programme when we join you here. Well, it wasn't just either on track, it was also in the sky because we had the red arrows. And I just want to throw in that I had the privilege of flying with them many years ago. Fantastic to see them, and they are back here at the Festival of Speed again tomorrow, and we will see more of them. In fact, they're here tomorrow, and they're also here on Sunday, and they're just so spectacular. I think we might have to put them in to tomorrow's Facebook programme, which comes a bit earlier tomorrow because it comes at 1500. Now, we've got a live programme that you could win prizes on. Here are the prizes. We've got two of our attractive ladies to look at. So first of all, we've got the jacket. So you could win the jacket. Dom's just showing you the jacket. Thank you. There we are. Okay. You could win the shirt. There we are. Very nice indeed. And you could also win this shirt. Let me just point out, you can win all of this. She's even showed us the price. And you get a cap as well. So it's all one prize. You don't just win one of it. You can't choose and say, well, I'll have the jacket, but I won't have that. It's everything. You win it all. And the competition is a question. Now, you have to answer this in 15 minutes, okay? If you don't answer it within the 15 minutes, I'm afraid you're out of here. So if you're going to watch this programme later, you're not watching it live right now at 5:05 on a Friday afternoon, let me tell you that you can't enter the competition, let me just tell you. So let's take a look at our question that we have for you. Okay, here is the question that we need you to answer. So this year, Renault celebrates 40 years in Formula One. But who drove their first F1 car back in 1977? Now, we'll make it a bit easier for you. We'll give you some multiple choice. Was it A, Renault, B, Jean-Pierre Jabouille, or C, a ridiculous answer, Fernando Alonso? But you know that isn't true. Fernando Alonso was about that high back then. So I've helped you there, haven't I, to win all of these prizes. You need to enter now. You can do that, of course, via Facebook. If you're watching us Facebook Live, you can enter via Facebook. And the winner we will announce at 5:30 in about 25 minutes' time. Plenty to come then here on the Facebook Live show from Renault. First of all, so take a look at this, I think, and we'll kind of give you a bit of a reminder from this morning.
Exactly 40 years ago, in fact, we started at the British Grand Prix in 1977, and when the British Grand Prix is on in 2 weeks' time, to that day, it was 40 years ago, and we started with that car.
Can we expect this car to turn up at the British Grand Prix by any chance?
Yeah, it'll be there. It'll be there. But that, yeah, so 77 we have the RS01, and we started with a turbocharged engine. At that time, you could either have a 3-litre naturally aspirated engine or 1.5 turbo. And everybody else had a 3-litre engine, and we decided to do something different and had a 1.5 turbo. And so that turbo era that then went through all the years, everybody then went to turbo, and we started it.
Let's be honest, it wasn't easy, was it?
Absolutely not. No, we did innovate with that turbo engine. In fact, the nickname for it was Yellow Teapot, because what it used to do was then blow up or overheat. So it took a long time. In fact, we started in 77, and it took 2 years for it to win its first race, and it won its first race in Dijon in 79. So it was a long period. But once we developed it, eventually everybody took it on as a technology to be in Formula One with.
So there we are. We were talking about some of the cars that were here are here on the front, and looking at a bit of history from Jeremy, who's the communications director for Renault UK, which brings us rather nicely where we were talking about the car from 1977 to the car that is current day. And let me tell you, in a couple of weeks' time, we're at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix, and that is the Grand Prix where they will absolutely be celebrating properly, because it is exactly 40 years since the first time that a Renault car with its turbo engine turned a wheel. It was at the British Grand Prix all those years ago, so quite a nice anniversary. Well, of course, Jolyon has been here today. This is his only day here at the show. He's not at the Festival of Speed, unfortunately, tomorrow or Sunday, so it was an opportunity for us to sit him on the wheel of his Formula One car and to have a chat to him. And we spoke to him about life as a Formula One driver. First of all, of course, just how busy it is.
We were a little bit delayed, just come back from the top of the hill, so yeah, I mean, always nice to come down here, see what's going on down in Renault base camp, and yeah, then I've got a few things to do, so I'm just here for today. I mean, last year I did all three, but just a quick day for me.
Which brings me rather nicely to what happens to a Formula One driver when they're not in that cockpit, because for me, I think it's quite an easy job. I mean, it's a few weekends a year. You're sitting down all day, so it can't be that hard, surely.
Well, which bit of it? I mean, firstly, a few weekends a year, that's 20 weekends a year, which is like nearly half the year, actually. So we're pretty busy. And obviously, it's not just 20 weekends, but we're going all around the world. So from Australia to America to Japan. So there's a lot of travel time in that as well. And then in between, we have a lot of appearances to do, sponsor appearances, marketing. We're working with the engineers. So I'm in the factory in Enstone pretty much every week. I'm in the UK, certainly every week I'm in the UK. So it's a super busy job. I think before I started in F1, I didn't really appreciate how full on it is. But I think by the time we get the checker flag in Abu Dhabi, we're ready for a rest.
And I was going to say, by the time you get to Abu Dhabi, is it then that you almost get out of the car going, oh, thank goodness, I can now go on holiday? Because I guess you can't go on holiday much in between.
No, we get the August break, but that's the only time of the year. The rest of the year is pretty much every 2 weeks, sometimes even back-to-back races. So we don't get a lot of holiday time. We don't get a lot of time to spend with friends and family. Don't get me wrong, it's a sacrifice I make to be racing in Formula One, but it is nice from that point of view to get to the end of the year. But then we do basically December, Christmas, bit of family time, sometimes a holiday, and then straight away from January it's like, I want to get racing again. It doesn't come soon enough, the start of the season from that point.
How physically demanding has this year been as well? Did you go into it sort of knowing or thinking it was going to be, and therefore you've had to do a little bit more training, or were you surprised?
No, this year it's very physical. I think there's big rule changes with the cars. So we now have bigger cars, much more downforce, bigger tyres. basically a lot more grip, so we're going a lot quicker through the corners. That puts more G that we've got to take, and it takes strength basically to do it. So from where I was last year, I basically had to be in the gym a lot over the winter to be trying to bulk up, put on a bit of muscle. Normally it's all about being as light as you can, but this time was a bit different. But yeah, no, it is very physical, so I'm pleased I've put in the hours in the gym.
Do you have to eat differently?
You have to watch what you eat, basically. You have to eat sensibly, eat the right food at the right time. For me, it's about being a certain weight and then about being healthy with it. So, yeah, for years I've been watching pretty much every meal all year.
Bit like me then. Okay. Now, bit of a change as well this year for various reasons. The cars themselves are different. Harder to drive, and has the change been something that you've enjoyed, but at the same time that you weren't expecting?
I was expecting it. I think everyone knew what was going to happen. That was why we have these rules. Harder to drive, yes. Much more enjoyable because they're so much quicker. I think the lap record's been broken in a few places this year. So that's from the whole history of Formula One. This is now the quickest moment. So it's super fun in the car. We're going extremely quickly, and it's all coming through the corners really. So it's a bigger challenge on us physically and mentally as well. But then, yeah, I think it's a little bit harder because when something goes wrong, you're going at a higher speed. Everything's a little bit more sensitive now with the downforce we've got.
Now, it's 40 years of Renault in Formula One. I'm just a few years older than you, so I'll remember that. You don't at all, do you? Do you know who Renault is?
Yeah, I do. As a Renault F1 driver, of course, I've got to be looking into the past. So I grew up supporting Renault, actually, but that was when Fernando was winning, 12 years ago. But yeah, no, I think they're obviously a historic brand in Formula One. They've won many championships. Renault, Jean-Pierre Jabouille, who I've met a few times, and he's still doing stuff with us today. So it's great to see, and it's great to be a part of that history as well.
Now, the car next to us, just here, which Sean might be able to get a little shot of, is the car that Renault drove all those years ago. This is like the first Renault. Have you had an opportunity to get into something like this, a heritage bit of Renault history?
I haven't, I'm gutted, but I'm hoping that that's going to change at some point soon. But that's a real masterpiece. I love an event like Goodwood because you see so many of these old cars, and this old the RS01 the Renault drove, but there's also a huge host of different cars, Formula One cars and everything else here. So it's great to have a look around and see.
Now, you've been up the hill, and we've actually, we've seen you on the hill. Bruce Jones was at the top of it. He did a little interview with you. I have to say there was a massive smile on your face. Clearly, there's an enormous pleasure driving up this hill climb course.
It is so fun. I came here for the first time driving last year, but I've been coming since I was a boy. I live not that far from here, so it's such a great event. Luckily, the weather's holding off for now. There's so many fans, as you're driving up in a Formula One car on Lord Much's drive, basically. It's so narrow, it's so wrong to be driving a Formula One through the flint wall and these straw bales, but it's great fun, and there's so much support here, and obviously my home support as well, being a Brit, so it's a real great weekend.
And when you're going up the hill, are you aware of spectators, or are you just thinking, keep it on the black stuff, keep it on the black stuff?
It's all about the spectators here, so we're not pushing super hard. But it's nice to put on a show, basically, do some burnouts, try and get the back out a little bit, push on. But it's all about the spectators, and that's why I think this weekend is so different to what we normally do with Formula One. The fans can come in, they can see everyone in quite a relaxed environment, and it's fun for us as well.
There's plenty of other Renault cars as well going up the hill. Is there a wish that you could be in the seat of some of those?
There's a wish, the one that I really want to drive is not actually going up the hill, but it's Alonso's R25 that he won. So I'm hoping that one day we get that working again and we can bring that up. But honestly, driving down with a lot of these old F1 cars, I would love to drive any of them. They're all great pieces of F1 history.
If we go back to 1977, I was speaking to Jeremy Townsend about this morning. That car, Renault came into it, they had a turbo engine, they decided to sort of break ground, It wasn't the easiest entry into Formula One. It was all a bit difficult. We've kind of come 40 years on, and we've sort of got that a little bit. But you guys are actually getting there now. You're making enormous strides.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, it's not easy for any new team to come back into Formula One, and Renault's not a new team, but we did lead the sport as a manufactured team. So last year was the first year back since, I think, 2010, and it was a tough year. But this year, there's a lot of rebuilding, a lot of infrastructure that's being put in place, basically to be successful in the future. So where we are this year is already better than last year. We made a big step. And we're going to keep doing that, and the aim is, of course, to be champions again.
I've got you one last question. British Grand Prix, which you must look forward to because it is the home Grand Prix. Some other drivers that are in the paddock kind of almost don't have a home Grand Prix anymore because they may be German, but they don't live there. For you, it is still very much the home Grand Prix.
It is, yeah. I mean, I'm a Brit and I live in the UK still, so it's great. I mean, I've obviously grown up driving in Silverstone. It's, first of all, a fantastic circuit. I think any driver, British or not, would say that it's one of the best on the calendar. A lot of fast corners, a real challenge. And then second, it's like this weekend, the home support is so huge. It's really special for me. It's another one that I was going to, my first Grand Prix that I went to watch, must have been in about 97 or something there. And I used to go every year and love it. So now to be actually racing in the Grand Prix at Silverstone, it's an unbelievably cool feeling.
Did you go with Dad?
Of course.
Did you see much of him?
No, never. But I wasn't fussed, I see enough of him around the rest of the year. So when I'm at Silverstone, it's nice to see something else.
Great, Joe. Thank you very much indeed for coming to see us here on the stand today. It's been great, and I hope you have a nice weekend, apart from the fact that sadly you won't be with us for the next 2 days. But thank you very much for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, Julian Palmer.
Do you know, I couldn't resist it. He was sat here, so I thought I might as well take over. Now, we are on Facebook Live. That means we are live. To prove that, the time, please.
Nearly 20 past 5.
Or nearly 20 past 5. Thank you. So let's have a repeat of our competition here, because there's about 5 minutes left on that as well. And hopefully we might be able to pop it up onto the screen with a stroke of luck. There we are, there's the question then. This year, Renault celebrates 40 years in F1. Who drove their first F1 car in 1977? Was it A, René Arnoux? Was it B, Jean-Pierre Jabouille? Or was it C, Fernando Alonso? It was terribly tempting to put Bernie Eccleston up there, but we left it out. Anyway, so those are the three, A, B or C. You need to go onto Facebook, let me tell you, to enter that. I'm afraid we don't have a box here, so you've got to go onto Facebook to enter the competition. And we've got over £100 worth of merchandise that you could win. Jacket, T-shirt, all of that sort of stuff. It's all available to win. Well, Joe Palmer is not the only F1 driver that's been going up the hill here at Goodwood today. Let's remind ourselves of some of the others. Well, I tell you, 1977, this car here is what we're talking about. Of course, it's 40 years of Renault in F1. But if we go back 75 years, well, then we get to 1902, and we get to the first ever victory for Renault in any form of sort of motor race, because Marcel Renault entered the Paris to Vienna race, and the car that he entered in is here today. Now, this is a bit of a special treat, and if you're watching on Facebook Live, you'll be able to play about with this, because this is 360 technology. Very clever.
and very, very good fun, let me tell you, because you can look all around the track as it goes up the track. You need to be looking on Facebook, but if you are, just have a little play as we go up the track with the 1902 Renault as we're on board.
Things to see up in the paddock, but you might want to just head towards the paddock and go and see some of the Renault cars if you're coming to the Festival of Speed either tomorrow or indeed on Sunday. Jean Ragnotti's car is there, a lot of the Formula One cars there, and let me tell you as well, the Le Mans car is there as well, and that Le Mans car, on the eve of the 24-hour race, the management of Renault decided to bin it and put all their money into Formula One instead. What happened? The team went out and won the Le Mans 24 Hours. That car
is up there in the paddock. Let's take a look at some of the things that we've got in the paddock from the Renault Heritage and Classic Collection. Well, it's just a little flavour of what you can see over in the paddock here at the Goodwood Festival of Speed with a Renault theme to it, of course. Now, a little earlier when we started this live programme on Facebook, we said to you there was a competition. We set the competition for you. The question that we asked you, well, it was all about Formula One, of course, and it was all about the 40th anniversary. And the question that we asked wins you these great prizes, okay? So we've got a jacket, we've got a shirt, we've got another shirt, we've got a cap as well. What a great prize that you could win. Goodness sake. If you've tuned in on Monday, incidentally, when we're live from here, oh no, Monday's gone, I was going to say, because you would have won the Koleos, but sadly we're not live on Monday. But anyway, never mind. But you would have won all of this, and you had to answer one very, very simple question. Okay, the question was, back in 1977, who drove the first F1 car? We gave you three choices. Was it A, Renault? Was it B, Jean-Pierre Jabouille? Or was it C, Fernando Alonso? And the answer, of course, was B, Jean-Pierre Jabouille. I was just wondering if Ian, our graphics man, would have done something there. But anyway, yeah, Jean-Pierre Jabouille. I questioned it earlier with our producer Bob, but he's right. So there we are. So our Facebook winner is, you had to enter via Facebook, and our Facebook winner is, and I don't know this, so this comes as a surprise to me, is Georgina, who is from London. Georgina, well done if she's watching at home. And she has won the jacket, she's won the T-shirt, she's won another little T-shirt, and she's won as well this trendy little Renault cap. How cool is that? So there you go. Can I just point out to you as well, when I was doing the actions earlier, it was all very sort of dramatic. I was doing this, so was it A, was it B? You missed all that because we were on the graphic. Right, now, let me just tell you, one of the things I need to just move, I'm turning my iPad, otherwise someone will steal it, but anyway. Right, so over here, we have got VR headset. This young lady here is going to pop one on for us and show us how it works. And, yeah, not that we can see, but we can sort of demonstrate. There we are, look. And she'll move her head from side to side because that's how it works. VR headset. Right, and we had a little lad here earlier on today. His name was Dylan, and I have to say, he didn't just entertain me, he entertained everybody here on the stand, all the staff, other people. Our director fell in love with him, and to be fair, I couldn't stop laughing. It was a giggle a minute with Dylan and his brother from South London. It's just hilarious. So he's really quite got into it. As you can tell, he really is virtually real, in fact. So he does actually look as though he's shadow dancing rather than just driving a Formula One car, but there you go. Now, I can't tell you what's in that headset, and I'm not sure our cameraman can get a shot of it, but there you go. Okay, hang on 1 second, here we go. So, tell us a bit.
So basically, we're in a car, and I am going round this way, which is annoying.
Speed up.
Yeah, we're speeding up now. Oh my gosh, there's some people who's on motorbikes. And basically, there's this thing which is in front of me, and then I go through it, and then I'm in a different world. And then I'm steering with my head, which is cool.
What was very amusing as well that you missed on that clip, unfortunately, was the way that he commented about his dad. When his dad put it on and he said his dad won't get it, and that's because he spends too much time at home working and not enough time enjoying life with the VR headset on, bless his cotton socks. Now, we've got still plenty of action to come, obviously. Over the next couple of days, we've got Saturday and Sunday still to come, and we have got still plenty of Renault people that we can interview, talk to, etc. So let's just take a look at who we have got here live on the stand tomorrow and on Sunday. So tomorrow, Saturday, is 13:15. We've got Sergei Sorokin. And on Sunday at 1 o'clock, I have to tell you, I can't wait. Robert Kubica is here. He's our guest, and we'll be talking to him on Sunday. That then is Facebook Live. We have been on for the last 30 minutes. We are back again tomorrow. We join you here live on the stand at 3 o'clock. Sunday is the same. We're live on the stand again at 3 o'clock. We hope we have your company again. But for now, let's just enjoy some highlights. And from me, Gary Champion, I'll see you again tomorrow. Toodle pip.